It is Monday, the 3rd of July, one day before the big boom. How many are you off work today? Like of your other jobs, if you have one? Yeah, I didn't. There's many market centers that are closed today, especially KW. The Keller Williams International is actually closed today too. So we're open though because we got work to do. It's Monday. We'll be off tomorrow though, so you get tomorrow off. So let's talk about the weekend. We had a couple of days to go and do some greatness. Let's hear about it. What great things did you accomplish, or what are you proud of over the weekend?
I worked a very busy open house for another agent on Saturday, and it was in Buckeye. I live in Buckeye. About a dozen people came through in just a few hours. It was a lot of people are out looking for sure. And I got a couple of them at least that are interested in, me being their agent too, because most of them had an agent with them though, but there were a few that didn't, and following up on them.
You know what? There are hundreds of fish underneath the fishing boat.
Yep.
How many do you need to catch? Saying a lot of people get really bummed out about that. Like, hey, all these people came to my open house and all of them had agents except for these couple. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think we forget that it's not 100% some game. It's often 1%. You only catch one fish, you're good. You caught a fish. Every time you go fishing, you catch one fish. It's a success.
I was happy. Oh, good. I was happy because one of them already reached back out in we're texting back and forth. I called her and we talked, and then she texted me back later. So she's still kind of up in the air and all that, but still she's interested and wants to look and things. So we're getting there.
There you go. That starts the process, starts the conversation, guys. Remember that we are in a game of numbers. This is a game of skill, not a game of chance. If you want better numbers, get better skills. If you want to have more production, you're going to have more results. More results come with better practice. We don't practice just so we understand the motions. We practice to internalize them. Because once we internalize the motions and we internalize the scripts, we internalize the things that we want to say, when we want to say them, how we want to say them, it becomes automatic. You don't have to think about how you handle things. It just happens. I doubt any of you have to put a whole lot of conscious thought into driving anymore. You do it so frequently, and I can prove it to you. Have you ever been driving somewhere and all of a sudden you realize you were there, but you can't remember the drive at all? Isn't that terrifying? To realize for the last 20, 30 minutes, you've been operating a heavy equipment, 4,000 or 5,000 pound metal ball of speed and fury, and you can't recall any of it. That's because your brain was focused on other things. Your subconscious was operating the vehicle, was driving. Just like in your business, we have to train our subconscious to be able to drive our business. And if we train it to drive recklessly and, hug the lines, then it's probably not going to be a good thing. But if we stay in the middle, we do what we're supposed to, and we follow the rules, we're not going to put ourselves in damage. Welcome to real estate. This weekend, I spent, 5 or 6 hours yesterday cleaning the house. Right? The wife and I, we have, wanted to get the house cleaned up. It's been a while since we've had a deep clean day. And we're going through the motions, and I'm thinking to myself that it shouldn't take 5 hours to do this. I just have to train the kids to help keep their rooms and their areas kept up. And in doing so, we are going to create that automatic pilot. And one of the things that really just absolutely irks me is when there's trash on the ground, you pick it up. But is that a natural thing? No, someone somewhere had to tell you the importance of when you walk by trash, you pick it up and you throw it away. My 6-year-old is having a really hard time grasping that concept. And I say it's his responsibility because he's the lowest to the ground. In the hierarchy of the family, he's the closest to the trash. He gets to pick it up, especially when he steps on it. But that trash, even though trash itself is a negative connotation, can be opportunities. It can be conversations. It can be objections. Anything in conversation that we tend to just walk right over top of, or we skip right through because in our minds, we're not searching for it. We're not looking out for every possibility. What are you missing? How many people did you talk to this weekend that you didn't bring up the fact you're a realtor or talk about real estate or any aspect of the market? That's a missed opportunity. That's a piece of trash you stepped right over top of. Now, when you go to Starbucks and you're in line with someone, you strike up a conversation. I was selling a piece of fine china this weekend, a piece of crystal my wife is selling, and I'm part of this Facebook group, and I'm probably, I don't know, 5 messages into this conversation, and I'm getting friendly with the lady, and she's like, I'm out in Kansas City for work. I'm like, oh, what do you do? And she's like, well, I work for this. I don't really, so it didn't matter to me. It was very big words and something in the tech field. And I was like, oh, that's great. I'm just a silly little realtor. She's like, oh, well, I want to be a realtor one day. It started a whole conversation thread. You got to remember that the piece of trash that you've stepped over 100 times may be that opportunity to, holy crap, there's a $100 bill hidden underneath it. Every conversation, you got to bring up real estate, talk about something, challenge it. Might be a $100 bill underneath it. And in our business, if you find a snack in real estate, is it worth a $100 bill? It might be worth a $10,000 bill. And if you're really good, 2 or 3 of those a week keeps you living pretty. That's all today, guys. Don't forget, we trained ourselves. We're walking through life on autopilot. And if you need to take 5 or 6 hours a week to clear out the coffers, you're not doing your daily activities. And if you're constantly walking by the trash, then you're not looking for opportunities. So today I challenge you. Put in 20, 30 minutes extra. Not just 20, 30 minutes total. If you did 0, that's fine. 20, 30 minutes is your total. But do 20 or 30 minutes extra lead gen, follow-up, sending postcards, messaging on Facebook, liking, commenting, and sharing for people. Spend extra time today connecting. And then tomorrow, I know we're off work. I know everyone's off work, and that's, it's a day off. Who else is off tomorrow?
Everybody else.
Everybody else. So tomorrow is a day of gratitude. Have you ever sent out 5 gratitude texts to people randomly in the morning? You just hit them with the, hey, Mara, just thinking about you. Just want to say I'm thankful for you. Hope you have a great day. Well, those texts aren't as impactful on holidays because everyone's expecting them. Merry Christmas, happy birthday. We get those all the time. But if you throw a gratitude text out on 4th of July, hey, Jack, it's Big Dan. I just want to say I'm thankful for you, man. I hope you and the family enjoy your 4th of July celebrations. Boom. Now it's not just happy 4th of July. It's a gratitude text. I challenge you to send out 5 more than you would send typically. Again, if your average is 0, then 5 is your number. But if you feel good about doing the bare minimum, then please, by all means, step aside and let someone else take your business. We are not in the game of bare minimums. We are in the game of doing more to get more. Mara is sharing more information with you because that's what Mara
does. Make these graphics in Command, just so everybody knows.
There you go. Happy Independence Day. We're 13 minutes into a Monday, and I've already given you 2 pieces of homework. How do you like me now? What do you got, Ms. Cheryl?
I was going to, on that note of talking to people wherever you go, we were at Michael's, to frame I got, speaking of baseball, see baseball behind you. I got my husband a map of all the baseball stadiums in the country. It's a pen map because he wants to go to all the stadiums. Anyway, we were getting it framed, and the guy, young guy, about 25, we're talking to him, and I brought up the real estate. He immediately is like, I may be looking in the next year. I want to, buy my first home, blah, blah, blah. And we did all that, exchanged all the information. And then he also has a friend that he's going to have to call me who just got her license, and she's looking for an agency to work with. So I was like, I will help her. I'll bring her in, because I want my downline.
There is literally opportunity everywhere. Here in the desert, I know Karen doesn't have to deal with this, but here in the desert, we turn over a rock, we find a bug. Sometimes that bug is a scary bug. Sometimes that bug is a beetle. But under almost every rock, we find a bug. Because that's where bugs hide. They hide under rock. Just like your pieces of trash, when you pick them up, you find what's underneath. Just like the rocks, you shake them loose, you find what's underneath. Just like conversations and people. You start talking about things, you find out what's underneath. One of the scariest things we have to do in our business is talk to strangers. Do you agree? Head shakes. It's scary as shit to talk to strangers, isn't it? Especially if you're not an outgoing individual. Like, I can make friends out of anybody. I know I can. Some of you already feel like you've known me for years. Some of you have known me for years. But when it comes down to it, your job, your job, requires you to sometimes put on a cape. Be a superhero. Are superheroes afraid to jump in front of danger and save somebody? That danger is just the uncomfortable conversation of talking to a stranger. Put on a cape. Go connect with somebody. Put your realtor badge on, right? Your realtor badge is your badge of honor. I am Big Dan Caldwell. I am a realtor. Not realtor. Don't be dumb. It's a realtor. But that allows you to get past your own insecurities around it. Because like I said, the most terrifying thing we can do in real estate is talking to strangers. How do I talk to somebody? How am I going to make a friend? Some of you haven't made friends since you were in the sandbox. And it terrifies you to make new friends. But would it surprise you to find out that people are just as anxious to make a friend as you are? People are just as anxious to connect as you are. Anyone ever talk to some little old lady that randomly talked for 35 minutes about nothing because she hasn't talked to a human being in 30 days? You all have. You're all, I know exactly who that lady is. Human connection is something that we get addicted to. Go be a dealer. Go be a dealer of connections. A realtor dealer. Ideal in human connection. Would you throw us out there, Miss Mara?
This is kind of a high-end mixer that's happening this weekend. Rio Nuevo and Tucson Lifestyle is putting it on at TCC. So, you know, if you're in Tucson, could be some good professional networking.
It looks like it's a
And
full
it's free. Yep. Big major word, free.
That's my favorite price, faux free.
It is Saturday night, which not everybody wants to do, leave June on a Saturday night, but you know what?
Like we talked about last week, is the activities when you don't want to do them is when you should do them the most. I hope I'm touching your hearts a little bit today because there's a lot of opportunity in this business. I just want you to get out there and do it. I absolutely love seeing the terrified little lamb of an agent trembling as they shake the hand of their very first client. And then 5 minutes later, talking to them like they've known them for years. Chemically in our brains, we make a connection. Did you know this? It's not a choice. It's a chemical thing. We make a connection instantly if we like someone or not. But that only happens after like the third or fourth second. You just have to get through the first couple of seconds. And if you don't like someone, guess what? You don't have to talk to them. One of the scariest moments of my life is I walked up to a listing presentation to a mobile home out in Picture Rocks. I think actually it was Aver Valley. So out in the boondocks in Tucson area. And I walk up the stairs, is not assuming nothing different. I open the guy opens his door. He is just a tatted out bald man. However, he opened the door and I can see inside of his house and I can see all of the things that he was into. His beliefs, what he stood for, all the things that he aligned with. And the only thing him and I had in common was a hairstyle, if you know what I mean. It took me less than 2 seconds to identify if I wanted to do business with this guy or not. And I just said, hey man, you know what? I don't think I'm the right agent for you. And I turned around and left. This is one of the first deals I ever had. First appointments I ever had. You know, we all got that new agent hunger, like we got to take care of every opportunity. We got to do everything we possibly can, but not at the detriment of your morals or the detriment of your lifestyle. But I didn't have to sit there and talk to him for 35 or 40 minutes to see if I liked him or got along with him. I knew that in 2 seconds. Now, I'm a believer in letting people do who they are, be what they are. That's fine. Let people be. But there are just certain things that I don't align with. And that's fine. No harm, no shade. That's just not my world. But But as a newer agent, get out of your comfort zone. Put on your cape, go meet people. Find more people like you and create a tribe. They may not do business with you, but what you can, at the bare minimum, create is another advocate. Maybe a Facebook friend that likes, comments, or shares your posts. That creates a lot more engagement. There is no shortage of opportunities out there. What there is a shortage of activities. Right now, I can tell that everybody that's on camera is currently at home, except for Jason and I. Jason, I don't know where he's going. He's not dressed for the office, but he may show up anyways. I'm at the office. Sometimes I'm at my office at home. But are you the most productive when you're at home? Mara is. Well, I happen to know Mara has her own office at home. This is not a place that you hang out and relax, is it, Mara? No, it is a separate.
Come back in here when I'm done.
I love that. When I'm done, I leave, I'm gone. And you guys know my office at home is at the end of a laundry room. I'm not kidding. It's 25 feet. You have to step over boxes because right now we're still moving in. The laundry room is just a storage space. You have to walk through the maze of boxes to get to my desk. But it's not a place I hang out. It's not a place I sit and relax. So if you're at home and you're in your comfort zone, are you going to do things that are uncomfortable? No, you're probably not. If you're at home and you're working from home, that's fine. But you need to have a designated space that all you do in that space is work. There's a psychology behind changing your space. Sometimes it's as simple as just moving one chair. If you sit in the left chair all the time, and that's where you entertain yourself, that's where you relax, sit in the right chair. That's your working chair. If you eat dinner at the same table you're working at right now, switch seats, because we all like to sit in the same seat. I know it is. It's human nature. I don't know anyone that sits in a different seat every night. And if you are, then odds are you're a little crazy. Still love you. But you got to change your environment. I spent 2 days at home because we were with the kids, cleaning up. I didn't leave. I didn't do anything over this weekend. We just stayed home. I had 15 minutes of extra time this morning, and I used that time to book it to the office so I could do this call here because I needed a different space. I needed my head to change space, even though I've got my office at home. But I'll tell you that you will get more opportunities to be a superhero and make connections outside of your home. Your home is a great place for follow-up. Your home is a great place for your, systematic lead gen. Social media is a fantastic tool. You can use that from home off hours. Can you go door knocking at 8 o'clock at night? Not super successfully. But can you send 5, 6, 10, maybe even 30 Facebook messages at 8 o'clock at night? Are people going to get mad at you? No, that's probably when they're on their phone too. So let's shake off the cobwebs. Let's get out of that discomfort. Let's put on our capes. Let's go make some connections today. Especially with the 4th of July being tomorrow. It is the most widely celebrated U.S. holiday. We talk about the holidays almost everyone celebrates. Very few people don't recognize the 4th of July as Independence Day. So what you can do is capitalize on that and say, hey, I appreciate you. I was thinking about you. I'm glad you're in my world. Enjoy your festivities. Your friend in real estate. How many texts can you send out tomorrow? 10, 15? Caitlin walked by my office and said 1,000. She put the bar real high. Try it. And then when we talk again on Wednesday, you're going to have to tell me how many people connected with, how many people responded back, how many people you started a conversation with you haven't talked to in months, years maybe. I give these challenges to you not as an exercise in futility, but to show you the power of capitalizing on human emotion. Care and candor will carry the weight. All you have to do is put on a cape and go save somebody. So, what color cape are you going to put on? Is it red, white, or blue? Mine's all three. What's your thoughts on this? Let's hear. I want to hear from you. What's your thoughts on this conversation? This monologue, I should say, because you guys have been quiet.
Always good to have an excuse to reach out to people, to make a touch.
Yeah, it's easier when you have an excuse, isn't it, Mara?
Yep.
A reason. And I think holidays give you a very easy reason. What else? I will call on you, so take yourself off mute and be bold. Right, Devlin?
Yes. I struggle with having reasons sometimes. You know that. I sometimes feel like a pest. But I always jump right into business. I got to get better at my Ford conversations.
I think that, I mean, we talk about it a lot, like it's simplicity, but we need to practice forward more often. It's just being caring and having conversations. What do you got, Miss Gina?
Well, for me, this is actually an easy area for me. I've always, just all the stuff I've done over the years. So I embrace it and any opportunity I get. So that's, but it's been useful hearing, all the opportunities that maybe I did miss. But for me, I just enjoy kind of have your personality, Dan.
My personality is curated.
Is what?
Curated. I'm not naturally outgoing. I love it because we got two stark differences between Devlin and Gina, right? Devlin struggles to reach out and Gina just can easily. So
I've always been told kind of, Gina, ever since I was in elementary school, do not talk out loud without permission. I had to write that on the board hundreds of times. So I guess it's just kind of making sure I use my words wisely and not just talking, on end.
Well, that's good. Speaking with purpose, having a concise conversation is important. I was a class clown, but my humor covered up my insecurities. Seriously, that's where it came from. And it's still to that point is when I get uncomfortable, I make jokes. Like I'm one of the few people you'll see laughing at a funeral. Just because my brain handles things differently. But the thing is no matter who you are or what past you have or what your natural abilities are, you can fine tune it to be able to connect with more people. Sometimes you're going to have to push yourself out of the boat more. Sometimes, like Gina, you're going to have to reel yourself back. But just know who you are and how you can best connect with people. But you got to get out there. And today, tomorrow are great opportunities for you to connect with people, especially during a holiday. Go be different. Don't be lazy. Use this time to connect. Okay. Spend 20 or 30 more extra minutes today. And then tomorrow, send 5 extra conversations. That's all. Let's talk about it on Wednesday. Sound good?